All right. All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Hong Win, and I am a part of the Careers and Professional Development team here at WGU. We are so thrilled to connect you with great employers and help you advance in your career goals. For today's session, we are very excited to have our great presenter, Ashley Stevenson, join here with Matt as well from Commerce Bank. And Ashley had shared fantastic sessions with us before, and we are very excited to have her back for today's great topic. So, with that, Ashley, I will go ahead and pass it over to you.
Thank you so much for that great introduction. We're super excited to be here with you today. And my name is Ashley Stevenson, and I'm with Commerce Bank. I'm the Senior Workplace Banking Implementation Specialist here in Kansas City, and I've been with the bank just about 5.5 years. Also joining me today is Matt Edmond. He's our Workplace Banking Implementation Manager, and he'll be assisting with dropping some helpful information in the chat, and will also be helping with answering some questions throughout the session. So our team receives aggregate data, which is not linked to any personal information from those of you that use My Milestones currently. And we have learned that one of your top financial stressors is debt. So this is why we're here today to help you learn some more about debt. So having debt is normal and sometimes even necessary for life's big moments, such as purchasing a home or pursuing an education. But what happens if you take on more than you can handle? So this course begins with an exploration of why debt overload happens in the first place, including the many types of debt and how to recognize your personal relationship with debt. After diving into the various strategies and resources available to help you tackle debt, the course invites you to evaluate your financial situation and how various debt paydown methods could work for you. Finally, the course wraps up with the notion that prevention is the best medicine. So, by recognizing various situations where you could be prone to incurring debt, you'll be more of an informed consumer. All right, so this is our agenda for today. So first, I'm going to explain what My Milestones by Commerce is. Next, you'll learn why financial wellness is so important. Then we'll complete the Getting Out of Debt and Avoiding It in the Future course, which is in My Milestones. And then I'll give you a live demo of your WGU My Milestones site. So lastly, we'll finish up with a call to action and then any questions that you might have. So the reason we're here today is because Western Governors University, who deeply cares about your financial well-being, has partnered with us to bring in My Milestones as a free benefit to all of you. So My Milestones is a financial wellness platform that provides objective, interactive tools, education, and solutions to empower users to take control of their finances. So we're all in different situations, and with My Milestones, you can gain financial education on topics that are relevant to you. My Milestones offers a variety of different learning mediums since we all like to learn in different ways. Some examples are courses, interactive tools, articles, start here guides, videos, infographics, and webinars. Keep in mind that any personal information you do put into My Milestones will not be shared with your organization, and your family can also take advantage of this platform as well when they enter in their own information during registration. So with My Milestones, you'll be able to take control of your personal finances. So a question we do have for everyone today is, what grade would you give yourself when it comes to your own personal financial knowledge? Do you think it would be A, B, C, D, or F? So only if you feel comfortable doing so, go ahead and answer that question in the chat, and we'll give you just a few moments to think about that and put that in if you're comfortable. All right. Thank you so much. All right. Thanks, Monica. We've got a B. We've got some C's. All right. Well, we're here to help you with that today, and My Milestones will certainly help you with that. So shockingly enough, 41% of American adults said that they deserve no better than a C when it comes to their own personal financial knowledge. And that's exactly why My Milestones is so important. So most of the time when we think of benefits, we tend to think of health and mental wellness, but financial wellness really has a huge impact on us all as well. Okay, so next we're getting ready to move into our live demo portion of the presentation. So we will be completing the Getting Out of Debt and Avoiding It in the Future course together. So please go ahead and take out your phone and scan the QR code now on the screen. through your camera application, or you can also visit the URL that Matt will be dropping in the chat. Keep in mind, it's just going to ask for your name, your email, and for you to create a password. So I'm going to go ahead and sign along with you. So if you need the URL, he'll go ahead and place that in the chat as well. But I'm going to switch over and go ahead and do the same thing that you are doing and sign up so that we can do the course together. So I'm going to go ahead and click sign up. And then it'll have you re-enter your your email just to make sure that you've typed that in right. And then it will have you go ahead and create password. Then we've got some disclosures here, and it wants to know that you're not a robot. And then we will go ahead and click sign up. Let us know if anybody's having any difficulty signing up. And it is loading right now. So I'm going to go ahead, and what it's doing is it's telling us that My Milestones is going to help achieve our goals. So we're going to go ahead and click on Get Started, and you'll get some pop-ups when you sign in for the very first time. So if you're a new user, it's talking about the financial checkup, which I'll show you how to find that on your dashboard. So the reason that the financial wellness checkup is so important is it is how it's going to give you personalized recommendations based on how you filled out that checkup. Next, it talks about your financial stress score. So you'll get to see how your score compares to your peers and also receive recommendations to help lower your financial stress and achieve your goals. Next, it talks about the money personality. So this is really cool, and I'll talk some more about it in depth when I can show you the actual tile on your dashboard. And then it helps you really stay on track with financial tools, courses, and our latest content. So we're going to go ahead, and for now, we're going to skip the checkup, but we definitely want you to do the checkup as a part of your call to action after we go through this course together. So this is just telling us that we actually get awarded for all of our activity on My Milestones, which is really cool. So you actually earn experience points for interacting with the platform. Those are also called sprouts. And you can actually do something really cool with the sprouts that I'm going to show you. So for example, I'm going to start with setting your streak goal. So it says your streaks are earned by completing a task in the given time period. So we're going to go ahead and start that task. And this is basically asking us how often we want to interact with the platform. So I'm going to say we want to interact with My Milestones at least once a week. So I'm going to go ahead and confirm that. And it says, great job setting your streak. So we're going to say, let's go. As you can see right here on the top right-hand side, we have earned 25 points for completing that. And what those get you is when you actually hover over the garden on your left-hand side and you go down to your sweepstakes. I'm going to click on that. As you can see, every 25 points that you earn here, it earns you an entry into a $1,000 monthly prize pool. So that's really cool. You can actually get rewarded for interacting and learning on the platform. So as you can see, just setting your streak goal has earned me one of those entries. So I'm going to go ahead and navigate back to my dashboard, and I'll show you where this purple tile is right here where it says get recommendations. That's the financial wellness checkup that I was talking about earlier. So that's a great first step on the platform so that you can answer those questions and it can start feeding you personalized recommendations. This money personality that I mentioned earlier is also really cool. So this is just a brief 5-minute questionnaire. It really helps you dig deep into the psychology behind why you make certain spending, saving, money-related decisions. So really how it really tells you how your brain ticks really has an impact on how you view financial wellness and how you actually spend your money. So that's really eye-opening for a lot of people. And I'm going to go ahead and jump right up into the top so that we can take our course. So I'm going to scroll over to topics. And then as you can see on the right-hand side, it says different ways to learn, and we're going to go straight to courses, and that is going to bring us to our debt course. So I'm going to scroll down so you start getting an idea of all of the different courses that we do have on My Milestones, and we're going to scroll down until we see our debt course, and then we're going to go ahead and click on that. Here we are. So this is our getting out of debt and avoiding it in the future. I'm going to go ahead and click on that. So on the right-hand side, it's always going to give you a course overview. So this one is a longer course. It's 45 minutes. It is a beginner level course. It includes a personalized course setup, which what that means is it asks you some pre-assessment questions so that it can assess your baseline knowledge and then build the course based on how you answer those questions. We're going to be watching 15 minutes of on-demand video. There's one interactive exercise. There's quizzes with immediate feedback, and then we're going to end with a personalized action plan and certificate. So we're going to go ahead and start this course. All right, so we are going to start with those pre-course assessment questions. Okay, so before every course you take, it asks how you're feeling about that topic. So before we get started, how do you feel about your ability to manage your debt load in a way that contributes to your financial health? So we're going to say we're feeling not so confident. That's why we're here today, to feel a little bit more confident. So it's going to ask, are you currently a student? So we're going to say yes. Next is what year were you born? So make sure you put in whatever year that is to move on. And then it asks, what type of debt do you have? So I'm just going to select some things as an example, but when you're going through doing this course, make sure that you fill it out to your unique situation. But I'm going to say we've got some student loans, we've got a little bit of credit card debt, and then we've also got some auto vehicle debt as well. And then I'm going to move on. Okay, so next it asks, are we usually able to pay your monthly bills and expenses without going into debt? We're going to say yes. Sorry about that. Let me see if I can refresh. There we go. Okay, so first quiz question that we have is, which of the following types of debt can most easily lead to debt issues? Payday loans, mortgage, business loans, or student loans? I'm going to go with payday loans here. All right, and that is correct. And we'll learn a little bit more about why that is later on in the course. So which of the following is a warning sign of excessive consumer debt? Would it be your bank offers to help you refinance your debt? Maybe you get an offer from a bank to open a new credit card, you're denied a loan or line of credit, or you notice that your insurance premiums went up. I'm going to go with you are denied a loan or line of credit. All right, and that one is correct. So I will ask for some engagement here since it's a true or false, and give your best guess here. So the debt snowball strategy focuses on paying off debt starting with your largest balances. Do we think that one is true or false? And just give me your best guess. All right, false. I'm going to go with that one. That is the first one that came in. Excellent. I am shocked most of you all got that right, and we have not even learned about what that is yet. So great job. Here's another one. One big sign of a debt relief scam is if an organization promises to eliminate your debt. And we're going to keep it moving here since this is a longer course. So I'm going to say, oh, we've got some answers. All right, true. And that is exactly right. Correct. Great job. Next, moving to a new state is not a potential cause of incurring excessive debt. Do we think that is true or false? I'm going to roll with, I've got some falses coming through. Go with that. All right, great job. Moving right along. So those were our pre-course assessment questions. So we're going to get on to the meat and potatoes of the actual course. Okay, so we're going to start out with this managing debt video.
Every day, there are more and more news stories about how student loans and consumer debt can be debilitating to your financial health. In fact, you and your family may have your own stories about borrowing money. The truth is, some debt is normal and even helpful. For instance, it can be hard to get by without borrowing money for big ticket purchases like a car or a house. So it's not debt that's specifically the problem. It's taking on too much debt without having an actionable plan for how to get out of it. If you practice and master smart borrowing habits, you'll be able to reap the benefits of using and managing borrowed money. When you're a working adult, the hope is that your income is growing at a greater rate than your debt. The amount of debt you carry compared to your income is called your debt to income ratio, and it's one key factor creditors look at when deciding whether to extend you a loan. If you owe a lot of money to creditors and don't have a high enough income, it shows you are a riskier candidate for obtaining more borrowed money. Your debt to income ratio can also be a useful tool to gauge where your personal finances stand. Reassessing this ratio will surely be needed throughout your lifetime as your income and expenses change, and as you plan for financial goals like retirement. It's important to be aware of the relationship between your income, expenses, debt, and credit, as they all affect each other. In fact, how you manage your debt is one of the main factors that credit bureaus look at when calculating your credit score. If your borrowing habits get out of control, such as by reaching maximum limits on lines of credit, only making the minimum payments, or not making payments on time, then your credit score will be negatively affected. On the other hand, if your debt load is modest and you're managing debt consistently, your credit score will be positively affected. So, is there a solution to staying out of debilitating debt? Well, it really comes down to a few things. These include utilizing budget tools, creating a savings plan, understanding your spending personality, and continuing to assess your financial needs. Doing so will help you be more educated and empowered to maintain a healthy and manageable debt load. However, if you find yourself stuck and unable to take action on your own, then sometimes it can be helpful to seek professional advice. Managing debt can be stressful. Just know this, for most people, borrowing money is a normal part of life. Managing debt just takes a little bit of planning and smart borrowing.
All right, thank you all for watching that video. We'll go ahead and move on. So keep in mind that it is important to make sure you're keeping your debt under control. Okay, next we're going to look at why does bad debt happen to good people? So this is an example of an infographic that you might see. So these are really good for those of you that are visual learners. So this is the causes of unmanageable debt. So one example would be planned or practical debt. So this is debt that's necessary to finance standard lifestyle situations. So an example of that would be like a personal loan. Next would be a poor money management, so debt due to carelessness or unplanned spending. And an example of that would be misuse of credit cards. Next, we move on to financial illiteracy, so debt that may be accidental or preventable with greater financial awareness. So example of that would be lack of planning or budgeting. And then lastly would be emergency or a financial catastrophe. So that is really debt that sometimes just happens to the best of us. An example of that would be like a job loss. Okay, next we have a poll question. So most of our courses do contain poll questions, and these are really fun because this shows you after we click an answer, what percentage of folks that took this course had the same or maybe different answer. So obviously all of you are going to be answering this different when you do run through the course on your own, but I'm going to go ahead and just click on between 10 and 50,000. All right, so 26% of the people said between 10 and 50,000 like us. So this graph represents how we answered compared to the peers who took this course. So this is according to Experian. The median household debt in America in 2023 was a little over 104,000, and it was up significantly compared to 92,000, about 700 in 2020. So it looks like it is trending up there. So something to keep in mind. Okay, so do you know the different types of debt? I'm going to go ahead and watch this video on the different types of debt so we make sure that we understand those.
Did you know that some debt can actually be considered good? There are many different kinds of debt, and depending on what you use your debt to pay for and how well it's managed, your debt can actually be a positive part of your financial picture. Generally, debt can be considered good if it's for an investment that will grow in value over time or help make you more money. Taking out a loan to fund your education is a great example of what some financial experts may refer to as good debt. Bad debt, on the other hand, is debt that costs you more than it's worth in the long run, like a $100 pair of shoes that you charge on your credit card and end up paying $200 for once you've paid the interest charges. However, if you aren't timely with your payments, even good debt can turn bad. For example, mortgages, student loans, and other loans like business and personal loans can all be great investments. Yet, defaulting on a mortgage could lead to your home going into foreclosure. Student loans left in default can go into collections, and your wages can even be garnished to pay off this debt. And if you fail to make payments on business loans, the lender may seize your business assets or even your personal assets, depending on how the loan was guaranteed. And finally, defaulting on any of these loans can lead to a major decrease in your credit score. Credit cards and consumer debt, like consumer finance offers and layaways, are other common types of debt you might encounter. While it's actually good for your credit score to use credit cards and consumer debt wisely, letting this type of debt get out of control can be hazardous to your financial health. Credit card debt can be especially dangerous, as interest charges will cause your unpaid balance to continue to grow. Unpaid credit card debt can also go into collections and damage your credit score. Although taking on debt can pose dangers to your financial future, don't let that scare you off from applying for a loan or credit that you need. Just make sure you aren't borrowing more than you can pay back and that you make your payments regularly and on time. Managing your debt responsibly is actually a great way to increase your credit score, opening up more opportunities for a great financial future.
All right, next we're going to talk about how not all debt is created equal. So this is an interactive exercise that talks about the difference between good debt and bad debt. So what you can actually do is you can click on these different types of debt and it will tell you the debt risk level as well as the pros and cons. So I'm just going to go ahead and start out with a car loan. So this one looks like the debt risk level is more towards the green, but kind of in the middle in the yellow. So the pros for a car loan or car debt is low interest rates, a short repayment term, and then the cons would be asset depreciation. So meaning that your vehicle can lose up to 50% of its value the first 3 years that you own it. Next, we're going to move on over to student debt or student loans. So it looks like for student loans, we're more in the green. So it's got a lower debt risk level. Some pros are you have increased earning potential with that. Your interest is tax deductible, and you have flexible repayment plans. Some cons could be a longer repayment term, maybe the risk of borrowing too much or more than you really need, or debt burden may exceed your potential salary. So just making sure that you don't borrow too much and have the inability to pay it back if your salary is too low after school. Another example that we'll look at, which we talked about earlier briefly, but just to give you a little bit more background about payday loans. So as you can see, payday loans should only be used as a last resort because they have extremely high interest rates and are due by the next paycheck. So as you can see, payday loans are in the red. The pros are quick access to money and easy approval, but the cons are very high interest rates, and we're talking up to 400% APR. And then you could be involved with predatory and hostile lenders, and there is a high risk of fraud when it comes to payday loans. So make sure when you do this course, you click on all the different types of debt and learn some more about the pros and cons and what the debt risk level is there. All right, next we've got a true or false question, so I will ask for some engagement. So having some debt is okay as long as you make your payments on time and don't borrow more than you can pay back. Do we think that is true or false? All right, lots of truths coming through. Thank you. We're going to roll with that. Excellent job. That one is correct. Okay, so knowledge is power. So these are making sure that we're recognizing the warning signs of excessive consumer debt. So some of the warning signs could be that you receive a notice of late or missed payment. Maybe you've been denied a loan or line of credit. Another one could be maybe you bounced a check, or your credit card is declined at point of sale. You also could be receiving phone calls or mail notices from debt collectors. Another thing you could experience with excessive consumer debt is maybe your wages could get garnished, or your car or other valuables could be repossessed. So a few signs to watch out for is maybe you don't know how much debt you really have. Watch out if your budget is either erratic or unpredictable. Maybe you only make the minimum payments on your monthly debts, or you could experience that none of your friends or family will loan you money. We're going to move on to another true or false, and go ahead and answer this if you would like. If your credit is bad, you could be denied for a loan or line of credit. Do we think that is true or false? All right, lots of truths coming through. Thank you so much for that. Keep us moving along. Great job. Okay, so remember there's always a way out. So some common strategies for getting out of debt is the debt snowball. So that's the one that we talked about. So that is working on paying down your debts by starting with the smallest balances first and then moving on to the larger balances. Another method could be the debt avalanche. So instead of paying off the smallest balance with extra payments each month, you pay off the balance with the highest interest rate first. Next, another example is debt consolidation. So this is pretty much refinancing the debt under a new loan. There's also a balance transfer. So this typically involves opening a new credit card that comes with a promotional balance transfer offer. That offer normally has a low or no interest rate period for balances that are transferred from other cards. And those normally range anywhere from 12 to 18 months. Next would be debt settlement and negotiation. So this is also known as debt reduction, and this actually involves negotiating the amount owned on a specific account. And then we also have bankruptcy. So bankruptcy is used as a last resort. So this is actually becoming legally declared unable to repay the debts. You could also work with a financial professional. So debt counselors and some financial planners work with individuals to help with debt repayment as well. All right, we've got another quiz question. So which of the following debt repayment strategies is considered a last resort? So we just talked about that one. So we're going to roll with bankruptcy there. All right, and that one is correct. So remember, help is available if you need it. We're going to go ahead and watch this video on seeking outside help for getting out of debt.
Having a little bit of debt is normal. If you're able to make substantial payments toward your debt each month, then your debt load could be considered healthy and manageable. But what if your debt starts to get out of control and you need outside assistance? Not to worry, as there are resources available if you're feeling in over your head. So, if you need help getting out of debt, credit counseling is a great way to get started, especially since some programs are offered free of charge. In credit counseling, you discuss your financial situation with a counselor who is certified and trained in services such as money and debt management, consumer credit, and budgeting. They can help you better understand your situation and develop a plan to help you get out of debt. Many credit counseling services also offer financial education to help you avoid excessive debt in the future. When looking into credit counseling services, you may first want to get recommendations from financial institutions, nonprofit agencies, or even local religious organizations. A local consumer protection agency or friends and family might also be able to refer you to a quality credit counseling service. Once you have found a counseling service, make sure they are accredited with either the National Foundation for Credit Counseling or the Financial Counseling Association of America. Additionally, you'll want to check with your state attorney general and local consumer protection agency to see whether they have any complaints filed against them. Depending on your financial situation, your credit counseling organization might recommend a debt management plan. With a debt management plan, you will deposit money each month with a credit counseling organization who will then use that money to pay your debts. In doing so, they may combine several of your debts into one monthly payment, and your creditors may agree to lower your interest rates while you are on the plan. Most debt management plans last for 3 to 5 years. To get on a debt management plan, you may have to pay a startup fee and monthly fees in addition to your monthly debt payment. And if you miss a payment, your interest rate cuts could be terminated. So if you find yourself deep in debt and you've exhausted all your personal knowledge and resources, turning to outside help can be a great way to get your debt under control. There's nothing wrong with asking for help with your debt. And hopefully what you learn in the process will help you stay out of excessive debt in the future.
Next, we're going to go into reliable debt services. So it's always good to be in the know. And this is a very important video. This one is going to help you avoid debt relief scams.
Many people find themselves desperate to get out of debt, and unfortunately, scammers love to prey on vulnerabilities such as these. Debt relief scams often offer outcomes that seem too good to be true and can leave you worse off than you started if you fall victim to them. So be on the lookout for these signs of debt relief scams. Debt relief scams may come disguised as legitimate services like loan consolidation, credit card balance transfers, or credit counseling. However, anything that offers you a quick fix to all your debt troubles should raise a red flag. One big sign of a debt relief scam is if the organization contacts you first to offer help. While scammers will always make the first move, legitimate organizations usually don't contact consumers with these types of unsolicited offers. Additionally, if the organization is pushy or aggressive and pressures you to take their offer, that's another sign that they are trying to scam you. Your financial future is at hand, and a legitimate organization will not rush you to make a decision. Scammers also tend to make big claims, like promising to eliminate your debt for pennies on the dollar. Or they may recommend drastic or extreme actions, such as advising you to stop making payments to your creditors or to cut off contact with them altogether. You might also run into scammers who use government symbols or language in order to seem legitimate. If they claim to be associated with a government agency, look up the official contact information and contact them directly. They should be able to confirm whether the communication was legitimate or a scam. Finally, if an organization won't give you information about how they plan to lower your debt or pressure you to pay them before you've seen anything in writing, that's another sign that they are not legitimate. If you think you've been contacted by a scammer, don't give them any personal information. It's better to be safe than sorry, so be sure to always do your research. And only deal with debt relief organizations that you know are legitimate. Strong customer reviews, a positive rating with the Better Business Bureau, and proper accreditation are good clues that you're with a safe organization. You can also protect yourself by asking a few smart questions. No matter the program, ask if they're licensed to do business in your state. Although not all states require licensing for all programs, most do. If you are working with an attorney, check if they are in good standing with your state's bar association. Remember, it takes time to pay off debt the right way. Scams may offer quick fixes, but they will only prevent you from achieving your financial goals if you fall for their trap. Look out for these signs of debt relief scams, and you'll be able to protect yourself while paying off your debt the smart way.
And I think that one is especially important and hits me close to home because my college roommate was actually taken advantage of with a debt relief scam that called her to pay off her debt. So just keep in mind that really does happen, and be on the lookout for that because we don't want that to happen to any of you. All right, we've got another true or false, so feel free to answer this one. Scammers often target people with large amounts of debt because they're worried and vulnerable. Do we think that one is true or false? Thanks so much, Sabrina and Monica. All right, true. Great job. Thank you all. So remember, debt is only healthy in moderation. We've got another video. This one is situations where you can be prone to incur debt.
The best way to avoid the problems associated with excessive debt is to stay out of debt in the first place. Although sometimes it's okay or even necessary to take on debt, certain circumstances and life events can put you at risk for taking on more debt than you can handle. Let's take a look at what some of those situations are so that you can prepare yourself when or if they come along. If you don't have a well-funded emergency savings fund, a job loss or change in income can make you more likely to pick up debt. But did you know that a sudden influx of cash can also put you over the edge into excessive debt? Often, when we get a lot of money all at once, it can lead to reckless spending and racking up debt. Additionally, even without job loss as a factor, job hunting can contribute to debt. Spending too much on a fancy interview outfit or traveling for new opportunities could set you up to incur too much debt. Career changes aren't the only events you'll want to look out for. Changes in your household and family size can also coincide with incurring debt. Planning a wedding or another large family event commonly causes people to pick up new debt to fund these occasions. Also, having a baby or adopting a child can add to an increase in household expenses and sometimes lead to racking up debt to cover costs. Finally, separation, divorce, or even losing a roommate can trigger debt as you figure out a new living situation or take care of other financial matters. There are a few other life changes that might make you more susceptible to incurring unwieldy debt. Starting a new business or pursuing advanced education might lead to taking out loans to support these new ventures. Unexpected illnesses and even aging can also contribute to taking on debt to cover medical costs. Lastly, moving to a new house across town or to a new state might also cause you to accumulate new debt to cover relocation expenses. It's likely that you'll experience one or many of these events at some point. You might even be going through one of them right now. If that's the case, remember, it's okay to have some debt, but be careful that you don't acquire more debt than you can handle.
All right, we've got another true or false. So a change in income can make you more prone to incurring debt. Do we think that is true or false? All right, true. We'll go with that. Wonderful job. That one is right again. So we're almost done, but this is super important for all of you. So this is a special section in this debt course that is directed to students. So special debt consideration for students. So make sure that you are not borrowing more than you really need. Make sure that you do not overestimate your potential salary out of school. Don't use the money for what you want. Make sure you use it for what you need. Make sure you keep track of all of your borrowing. And then make sure you really prepare for the couple of months before and after graduating. And then make sure you do consider the type of job that you want to have after college. Okay, so we really like I will statements at Commerce. So get to thinking what types of behaviors you're most likely to implement or change in order to take control over your debt. And feel free to throw those in the chat. We would love to see some examples are making sure you're reducing your reliance on credit cards. Another one is looking for ways to cut back on spending. Maybe you're going to look for some extra ways to increase your income. Perhaps you want to consult a credit counselor. You're going to ask for help from your friends or family, or maybe you're lucky and your debt situation is under control. So feel free to type in one of those examples that you're going to take away after this course, or maybe it's not listed there and it's something else. We would love to hear what you took from this course and what you're going to implement or change in order to take control of your debt. Oh, wants me to answer. Let's say I'm going to look for ways for cutting back my spending. Okay. Next, it's going to ask us how we're feeling now. So now that we've taken this course, we were not so confident at the beginning. How do we feel now about debt? I'm going to say we're feeling pretty confident now that we've looked at a lot of tips and tricks. This is our course completion. So at the end of every course you take, it's going to show you what your score was. So awesome job. We got 100%. Shows our knowledge gain is 0. And that's just because we answered all of our pre-course assessment questions correct. So if we would have been incorrect on a few of those, it would have showed a knowledge gain there. And then next, we are going to review our personalized action plan. Okay, so this is going to go over your score. So it shows that pre-score, we got 100% because we answered all those pre-course questions, right? And post-score, we also got 100%. It's going to show you an analysis and then really what to do and what that all means. Next, it breaks down your perception. So shows that we were not so confident pre-course, but feeling pretty confident afterwards. Then it shows us our poll question results. So 26% of people answered 10 to 50 like I did, but it also breaks down what the other percentages of the other answers were as well. So it looks like the most being less than 10, and then second would be 10 to 50. This is our personalized action plan. So mine could look a little bit different than yours because this is dependent upon how you answered the questions. So for this particular one, first one is realizing that tackling your debt will take time. Second would be keep making at least the minimum payments each month. 3 would be reassess your finances from time to time. Next would be really deciding a strategy for tackling your debt. So maybe it's going to be the avalanche method, maybe it's going to be the snowball method or something else. And then lastly, use a monthly budget to help you manage expenses. So if you were able to tune into any of our budgeting courses, there is an awesome budgeting tool that I will show you really quick after we navigate through here. And that's a great place to start making sure that you are taking, you're really taking advantage of using that budgeting tool. This is your certificate of completion. So as you can see, you can actually print that if that's something that you'd like to do as well. And now that we're done with the course, I am going to navigate just a few more places before we wrap up today. So back to our dashboard. And if we hover over topics, you can see that you can actually browse all topics. So as you scroll down, you can kind of just get an option on so many different topics that are on the platform. As you can see, they're always adding new content. So anything you see that new tab next to is brand new content that's been added, but really anything from credit cards to learning about estate planning. There's a whole section for family, for parents. Moving on, learning about FSAs and HSAs and healthcare. There's home and real estate, insurance, investing. There's a pet section, which I like. I've got four pets at home, so that one speaks to me. Learning about retirement, how to spend less, taxes. A lot of people don't know where to get started with taxes, so lots of information there. And as you see, as you scroll down, there's a lot of student specific information. So applying for aid, preparing for college, repaying your student loans, smart borrowing, student life. There's a whole section there on that as well. I'm going to go ahead and click on that really quick and just kind of show you some of the content that we've got in the student life category. So really making the most of remote learning is an example. Really cool thing with this content, if you see things that you like and maybe you don't have the time to consume them, you can hover over this red heart and I will show you where they go after we scroll down here. There's another one, fighting the most affordable options for textbooks. Are you the right kind of student for online courses? So the list really goes on and on here. 5 tips for single parents in school is another one that's highlighted here. Housing options and costs for international students. Should you work while you're in college? I mean, you can even click load more to load even more student-specific content there. So I'm going to go back to the dashboard and show you what happens when you favorite things. So when you go back to your dashboard, you can actually go to your favorites, and that is where all of those items that you clicked the heart on will live. So it's kind of like a bookmark, so you can look at it later if you need to. And then last thing I'm going to leave you with here is going back to your dashboard. There's actually an option to toggle back and forth between English and Spanish if that's something that you need. Also, there's a direct link on the top right-hand corner on how to join Handshake for WGU. And then as you navigate down to the bottom, you will also see some links to careers at wgu.edu. There's another one for WGU Career Services as well. And then I'm going to leave us with, over on the far left-hand side, Commerce Connect and Solutions. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. So as we look, you can explore more commerce solutions. So whether you're saving for a goal or looking to finance a major purchase, you can really explore how we can help you with that. There is a special $300 checking account offer right now. If you're new to Commerce Bank and you open a checking account, just keep in mind that you do need to be in our footprint. So like Missouri, Kansas, Illinois, Oklahoma, Colorado. And if you are and you don't already have a checking account with us, we do have a special $300 bonus right now. You just have to make sure you open that account by July 16th. So just a little less than a week. And then lastly, we've got a Connect with Commerce button as well. You can email Commerce directly by clicking that button. We also have a phone number listed there and our hours for customer care if you want to talk to somebody about help or questions as well. So we're going to go ahead and navigate back to the presentation. All right. So if you didn't already sign up, please make sure you go ahead and scan that QR code, or you can put in the URL that Matt will be putting in the chat. Just since we've had a lot of great engagement, it has moved up. So don't forget to register if you haven't already. Next, we've got our call to action. So please feel free to ask us any questions that you have in the chat, but our call to action for you today is to please register if you haven't already, and make sure you go in and complete your financial wellness checkup, which is under the purple Get Recommendations tab. So this will really allow you to see your personalized content and get the most out of the platform. Continuing with our call to action for today, so make sure you go in and take that featured course, Getting Out of Debt and Avoiding It in the Future, and putting in your own unique answers for your situation. And then make sure you go in and complete the debt to income tool to also reflect your unique situation. Lastly, we would love it if you would read the article, Getting Started with Managing Debt. Okay, so Matt is going to drop a link for a 5-question survey for you all in the chat. If you could please take just a moment to fill that out before we hop off, we'd greatly appreciate the feedback so we can make sure that our sessions are as meaningful as possible. If you have any questions after this session, please feel free to contact me with the information available on this slide. We can also make sure that these slides get sent to everyone who signed up for the event. That way the folks that missed us today will also have the information. And thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to tune in with us today. We'll go ahead and move into our Q&A session. So please let us know in the chat if you have absolutely any lingering questions for Matt and Ike, and we can make sure that those get taken care of for you. Thank you so much for those comments. So glad that this was helpful for you all. And we will stick on just in case somebody has got a question. Thank you all so much. Thank you.
Were there any questions from you that we might be able to address? Thank you so much for having us today.
Yeah, thank you for joining. No, I thought it was really great information. I know on my end I learned a lot as well. But
Good.
yeah, it looks like we don't have any questions for now. Please feel free to reach out to us at Higher WGU. If you have any questions, then we can fill those through to Ashley and Matt here. But we'll go ahead and wrap up the session. Just a reminder, we'll send the recording out along with the resources in the survey. We greatly appreciate you taking the time to do the survey now and then the survey that we'll send out. And then a huge thank you to our presenter, Ashley, today for your time and your
Thank
valuable
you.
insight. Yeah, and then Matt as well for joining and sharing those helpful resources. Your time today truly has enriched my knowledge on managing debt. So really grateful for that. And then don't forget to visit Handshake for other upcoming events. We'll actually have Commerce join us again in September, and their topic will be on understanding credit reports and scores. So look out for that session, sign up for that one in September. And then other than that, wishing everyone a fantastic rest of your day.
And Hong, I do actually see a hand up. If you wouldn't mind,
Oh,
we could stop the
yeah.
recording. And Myra, if you're still there, happy to address a question. And this way it won't be on the recording. Hopefully she hasn't left.